First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
I want to go with our defense attorney of the week. His name, of course, is Chris Tritico. Chris is on the line right now. Chris was one of the notable defense attorneys for McVeigh back in the day. And what we do is we throw three legal stories at him, and he's on the line right now. Chris, we'll speak with you, but you're going to have to download the app.
I've already done it. I was afraid not to.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good. When I say we only need 12, I am absolutely serious. Okay. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning. Good to be with you.
Of course, a criminal defense attorney, and let's start with a few topics. I'm going to throw topics at you, and you give us your take on this. Corporations offer scholarship programs based on race. Can this be done in America?
It absolutely can. And this is when I first saw this headline, I was offended, and I took a deeper dive into it, and it's not as offensive as the headline makes it out to look. I think that these are targeted at critical need, and they're targeted at not only race but gender. And it appears to me that these are colleges and universities and trade schools saying these are people that we need in here to fill spaces and can help segments.
Well,
population.
I'm not saying that they should be allowed to do it or not allowed to do it, but in what industry do you specifically need a certain gender of a certain race?
Well, I think great point. I think that what they're trying to do is, the way I read the article and what I've been able to find, is trying to get underserved populations into schools and into areas, and get them. Let's get them into the workforce, into the education system, and see if we can't give them a boost. It doesn't mean there's not money out there for everyone. There's just monies for certain programs that they're trying to get people into, and that's the way I read this. So at first I was offended too, but once I took a deeper dive into it, that's the way this appears to me. And it's not all money; it's just targeted money.
I have to say, Chris, my daughter has been in the process of applying to schools for the last 2 years. She went where I don't think she really wanted to go where she went last year, and she's going to the school of her dreams this year. She finally did get in, but the reality is we are white, and that is. There are quotas, and it's a real thing, and they're looking for certain people. And I believe you're right. I think the intentions are good. Sadly, though, there are good people, good young people that are missing out because of this.
There's also the amount of money that is left on the table every year of unused scholarships and grants is stunning. On the amount of money that doesn't get taken every year because people don't know it's available.
Right.
It's stunning.
Well, again, I think it's it's easy to complain. I do think intentions are good, but you can't do something good. It seems like in this world today without having certain collateral damage, and I'm afraid that's just the way it is.
Right.
Okay, let me throw another one at you. The New York Bar Association cites Governor Andrew Cuomo's directive allowing crowded hospitals to send COVID patients to nursing homes as a cause of nursing home deaths. Now, Chris, I need this to be clarified because I sat and watched the governor's press conference with his health director saying not one death was caused by this. So what's the truth?
That was a little bit of a whitewash, I'm afraid. Look, Andrew Cuomo had the respect of the whole country for the way he was handling the coronavirus, and he was on the front line. He was doing, I think, yeoman's work. The directive to send people back into the nursing homes is going to come back to really haunt him.
Yeah,
and I think in the beginning he didn't know what he was first. He didn't know what to do.
Yep.
But that directive to send people back into the nursing homes is really going to come back to haunt him. And what they found was the directive to take them back when they're medically stable COVID patients discharged from hospitals. when they didn't know if they were still contagious or not.
Right.
And they had to take them. They couldn't refuse them.
Yep.
That's the part that's really going to come back to haunt him, and he left it in place for weeks longer than it had to be. And that's where he's not going to be able to defend that. And this is going to come back to haunt him. But what stuns me is your bar association there. They not only investigate everything, they come out swinging.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And I guess you would know that's different than other bar associations around the country?
Well, it's just they tend to investigate a lot more, and they come out with a lot more press conferences than other bar associations I've seen, and they take a lot more aggressive action, it seems to me.
Yeah.
This type of investigation of Andrew Cuomo would not have been done in the great state of Texas where I live.
Interesting. Okay.
By a bar association.
I want to say that had what I find that it's always the cover up.
Right.
And, had Cuomo come out and been straight with the public and said, listen, we didn't know. We made a mistake. And there were people that probably died because of this. And it was a horrible mistake. But we were in uncharted territory.
Absolutely right about that.
Had he done it that way, but instead he came out and defied and said, I did nothing wrong. This was, it's
political.
This is not true. Right. I think that's the problem. No question in my mind
about that. He was riding so high.
I know.
In the polls. There was talks of the next presidential election for him.
I know.
And he just said that. You know what? I didn't know what to do.
Yep.
I was treading new ground here.
Yep.
I wasn't getting any help from the administration. That we all know that. I was doing what I was told to do, and this is the way it worked out. And look, if people died as a result of this, that's on me for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how sorry I am. It would have passed.
You're absolutely right. Chris, we should run the world. We are
Chris,
so smart.
If you ever have that opportunity, you take the lead. Let Bill fall back.
Okay. I'll just do what you say, Chris. Okay, and the third topic, this is a doozy. New York suspending Rudy Giuliani's law license. What do you think of this one?
So Rudy's been asking for this for a very long time with what he's been doing.
Yeah.
And I loved his response when they suspended his bar license. And this is your bar again, New York bar.
Yep.
When they suspended his bar license, he said they're only suspending my bar license because of the great work I did on suing over the president's loss in the 2020 election.
Yeah.
0 for 89.
You're right.
Work, Rudy.
That's a very good point. I mean, he lost every single case. I mean, why would you use that as a way to tout your performance?
That's not the defense. That's not the defense. Look, what they found here is that they suspended his license immediately, which is very, very rarely done. Because his statements and what he was saying was they found to be an immediate danger to keeping him in the courtroom and allowing him to continue practicing. The only time I've ever seen someone immediately suspended from the practice of law is when they don't pay their bar dues, and then that we have to suspend you because you are not now eligible to practice.
Right.
Or when there is such horrendous fraud, we have to take you out right now until you can prove you're not.
Yeah.
And so for them to take him out because of statements and words made to a courtroom, it's a pretty stunning event.
Yeah.
There's two ways to look at this in my view. The political view is that the New York Bar Association is playing politics here, or the view that they find this so horrific that they don't think he'll ever be able to defend it and he's going to lose his license.
Wow. Two very interesting cases involving the Bar Association that you would put into the fall from grace category, I'm afraid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yep. Crazy. Chris, we enjoy it. We'll do it again, hopefully next week. Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Chris Tritico, of course, he one of the trial attorneys who represented Timothy McVeigh in that Oklahoma City bombing case. And the reality is, who would represent Timothy McVeigh? Who would want to... everyone deserves representation, no matter how egregious your crime. Whether you're guilty or not guilty, everybody deserves an attorney, and it takes a very strong attorney to be able to represent somebody like him. So, pretty wild, right?